Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin bubble news channel. You have to see this Bitcoin is about to reach its ideal state. I just heard this morning that another Bitcoin ETF will begin trading this week. Australia agreed to let VanEck's Bitcoin ETF work. It goes public on Thursday. For a total of over 36 ETFs, this means that over $58.2 billion in Bitcoin is now being managed by US ETFs and over $69 billion is being managed by global ETFs. Not only that, but BlackRock and Fidelity now own a combined 477,000 Bitcoin, which shows that when Bitcoin prices drop, institutions are quickly buying more. The price is still moving around in this accumulation zone, and while we're making progress today, last week the price pretty much just went down, which Bitcoin daily readers understand. Last week, Bitcoin ETFs lost value and crypto funds had their worst week since March. Just to be clear, last week the Bitcoin ETFs lost $621 million in assets. That is a big deal because 2 weeks ago, the funds earned almost $2 billion through that. That's one step back and 3 steps forward. Because the Federal Reserve now thinks there will only be one rate cut in 2024, not 3 like they thought at the beginning of the year, this is a step backward. Does Bitcoin need more than one drop in interest rates to really take off? First, and this is what the major media won't tell you, it took gold ETFs 4 years to get more than $15 billion in net new money. It only took Bitcoin 5 months, which shows that there is more desire. 2. Big news: Deutsche Telekom, the biggest phone company in Europe, will start mining Bitcoin. This was just made public. Also, the Chinese tech giant Coolpad is going to spend $13.5 million on Bitcoin mining equipment that will be used in North America. It's pretty clear that Bitcoin will be used all over the world. We might be in for a great setup. But there's important news. Have you heard what happened with the SEC? David Hirsch, who was in charge of supervising crypto assets at the SEC, has quit his job. At the SEC, this was the person in charge of enforcement when FTX went down. He shut down FTX, or he was in charge of that. Celsius took place while he was in charge, and a lot of famous meme coins. He's done now. In fact, this is what he said straight on LinkedIn this morning. After almost 9 years, my last day at the SEC was last Friday. As a staff attorney, I had the chance to work on cases and problems that were much more complicated and difficult than I had ever thought possible. The crypto asset and cyber unit team I had the honor of leading did some of the most important work in history. He then says, of course, it wasn't just him. I often say that keeping people safe is like a team sport. That was definitely true during my time there. Everything that went well for me was a direct result of working together to reach a shared goal. I'm looking forward to the next set of obstacles. The next person the SEC chooses for this job will be very telling. I will let you know what I find. Also, in completely unrelated news, the launch of the Waka Flocka Flame token is being accused of insider trade. This is an old hip-hop act. Before Waka Flocka Flame even announced the start, about 40% of the coin's total supply had already been bought. The token was called Flocka. I'll let you know what's going on. But once more, breaking news: Tether, the biggest stablecoin in the world, is launching a new one today that is backed by gold. Let me introduce Alloy by Tether, the first object that is tethered. This is a stablecoin that is tied to the dollar and backed by gold. Alloy launched on the Ethereum network on Monday, letting users make coins backed by Zot, Tether's tokenized gold, so it was backed by gold and had too much security. But what is an object that is tethered? Different tactics, such as over-collateralization and secondary market liquidity pools, are used by this new type of digital asset to try to closely follow the price of another asset. These are the first products from Alloy by Tether that use Tether Gold as protection to try to track the value of the US dollar. Let's change the way we think about security. At this point, I see these financial products as nothing more than new ways for the old system to make money. They will build other financial products that aren't as safe. We'll see. A big step forward has also been reached for LimeWire Altcoin, an AI crypto studio for artists. 30,000 people on CoinMarketCap were reached. It's really cool to see the growth, a much bigger news story. That's right, LimeWire will be a part of On-Chain Summer on the Base blockchain. We'll let you know more in the coming weeks. In this case, LimeWire on ETHL2 is backed by Coinbase. And very quickly, the AAT protocol and plan were made public, paving the way for the future of AI. The team is excited to show you our new plan. A lot of thought has gone into what 8 will do next. And what's going on today? The Bittenser subnet is clearly live. There are no problems with the Einstein subnet 35. We plan to lift more weights in the next few weeks. so slowly but surely, and taking a look at the plan for what's coming up, especially for next month, sharing income from the Bitcoin subnet. For me, this has already begun. My 8E is on the line. They have a subnet, so as a reward I'm getting some Tau, which is a Bitcoin coin. Start the IDO initial DEX offering for the meme coin on the TON blockchain. That sounds pretty interesting to me. It's not because of the IDO, there are a million of them, but because they work with TON, which is another big new community. There are of course many more months in 2019 to look forward to for the AAT plan. That's not all though. Ethereum isn't the only one. There is less ETH on both sexes than at any time since 2016. With the ETF launch coming up in July, no one has fully grasped how bullish this is yet. Does this all add up to the best setup? At $65,000 in 2024, Bitcoin is no longer risky at all. It shows how much Bitcoin costs on average in ETF capital. What this means is that's the price at which companies are willing to buy ETFs. It was bought and sold at the same price 3 years ago, but things are much better now. Those running for president are also competing to show that they support Bitcoin the most. This is a great setup. If there's only one cut, Bitcoin won't have any trouble going up. There are also those who say, well, the Federal Reserve was going to cut rates 3 times this year. There is now only one. It's possible that risk assets aren't as strong as we thought. Another thing I want to warn you of is that the Federal Reserve is not proactive, they are reactive. When it comes to rates, the Fed acts on what it sees, right? They don't take action. In other words, they respond to the economy in both good and bad ways. They will start to pour back in the cash when the economy is doing great, inflation is rising, and growth is high. Rates will go up, and the car will be slowed down so it doesn't go over the edge. In the same way, they'll wait too long to cut. Things will have already slowed down. There are a lot of signs that show that things have slowed down. What I mean is that Japan and Europe are both in technical decline. I'm just saying that rate cuts aren't always a good sign. Before the rates go down, I think Bitcoin could go up a lot. Like they did in 2017, they raised rates when Bitcoin prices went up. In fact, the economy was already in bad shape when they cut, and Bitcoin had already crashed before that. In other words, the Fed is not our rescuer. I'll keep you up to date as these stories go on. If you don't want to miss a movie every day, click subscribe also. If you use the code AltCoinDaily, you can get 10% off your tickets to Bitcoin Nashville in July. Michael Saylor and I have heard a lot of great people. I'll see you there. Enter the code AltCoinDaily. Click on the link below.